POV, you are the son of a city mafia boss. One day, your father was assassinated by a rival, and you are his heir tasked with avenging him. From a very young age, you stood in a dark room, surrounded by men in black suits. They didn't look at you, they bowed their heads. You didn't understand why, but you felt that you were different from the other children. Your father was the only one sitting in that room. His chair was taller than all the others, not because of its design, but because of its power. You stood beside him, small, but not invisible. You saw the table before you, piles of money, gun lying cold. Your father didn't explain. He didn't need to. He just let you look. You grew up in silence. With every step you took down the hallway, 2 rows of subordinates bowed their heads. No one dared to look up. You used to think that was respect, but then you realize it's the fear of the name you bear. There are nights when you stand behind your father. He smokes. The light slants, splitting his face in 2. One half is your father. The other half is something you can't name. Through the frosted glass, you see the transactions. No laughter, no friendly handshakes, only cold stares and decisions that could kill. Once, you see a henchman tremble before your father. His voice falters, and you understand. In this world, power doesn't need to shout. It just needs to exist. But things didn't last forever. That night, the room was filled with powerful men. 2 gangs sat opposite each other, a deal, a handshake, a fragile moment. Then, a gunshot rang out. You ran in. Everything happened too fast, too chaotic. Your father lay on the floor. No longer the highest ranking, no longer the center, just an immobile body. Blood spread beneath him. You stood there. No crying, no screaming, because you had never been taught to be weak. The henchmen fled. Some screamed. Others stood frozen. The empire crumbled in minutes. The next day, the meeting room turned into a battlefield. No guns, but full of ambition. They argued. They tore up the map. They redistributed power. No one mentioned your father anymore. Then you walked in. No one greeted you. No one bowed. Only suspicious glances. You went straight to your father's chair. The chair you once thought would never be yours. You sat down. A laugh rang out, soft but loud enough for the whole room to hear. You said nothing. You drew your gun. One shot. The man who laughed fell. The room fell silent. No one reacted. No one dared. From that moment, you were no longer a child. You began to purge. Not out of emotion, because it was necessary. The opponents disappeared. The loyalists bowed their head. This time, not for your father, but for you. But in your heart, it's not over yet. You find the man who killed your father. You're not in a hurry. You learn to think like him. Night falls. You give the order. The rival's warehouse bursts into flames. Screams erupt. Everything crumbles, just as you once witnessed. You advance into their heart. The mastermind stands there. He trembles, but still tries to negotiate. We can talk. You pull the trigger. No answer, no hesitation. Only the end. A few weeks later, the city changes. There are fewer gangs. Only one. Yours. You stand high above, looking down at the city lights. Everything is exactly the same as before. Only one thing is different. You are no longer in the background. You have become the one everyone bows to. But in return, you have no one left by your side. No father, no family, no faith, only power and its price. The final scene. You stand in the darkness, no face, no emotion. Only a shadow, and out there, they call that shadow the boss.